everyone would have to figure out what limitations they possess mentally. And so what are limitations?
The weakness, like rejection.
Okay, rejection is a limitation. Why?
Because it'll stop us. It'll be already in our head, so we'll feel rejected. So anything that comes to us, it'll kind of amplify the rejection, even though it may not be rejection.
Exactly. So if you feel and you have felt rejected, you might have a genius answer or invention, and the reason why it doesn't come to pass is because, or materialize, is because you keep dwelling on rejection. They're not going to accept what I say. Whatever I do is not good enough, right? Jada, I saw you.
I was going to say, fear is a limitation?
Fear is a limitation. Fear is a limitation because we're afraid to speak up or do what we feel we should do. And there again, the limits keep you from producing the most important factors of your life. And that's why I brought up the adversity of the individual, because when you don't talk about the limitations or the adversities that we face, people, they can't overcome because they don't know or they don't verbalize that they're afraid. I do know that the Bible says to tell your frailties, one to another. Shame the devil by speaking the truth of how you feel, and then that's how you overcome. But if you just keep on trying to answer people according to what they're asking you for the sake of goodness, you can never get to the part of why am I afraid of this? That's a limitation. Fear is a limitation. What else, Derek? Okay.
Fear to me is a limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Fear isn't a limitation. Fear to me is knowing that it's something. It's a lot of sick people out there, and there is a God. That's what fears me. And that's what fear is to me.
Okay, so fear does not make you stop doing what you could do for better? Is that what you're saying? How does fear respond to you? How do you respond?
As far as God, well, there's only one God, and God fears me. I mean, I fear God, so therefore I have to work to relate with Him.
Okay, so that's good, because Derek is kind of saying that he fears God, so he knows that he has to do better. But when a person has fears of their own and God is not relevant, then what happens is it's turned around. Because people kill people because they fear.
That's true.
Right? So you got two different fears. The fear of God, like you, has made me change the way that I see things and people, even when they do negative to me. I still force myself to see good in them. I will leave people alone, but I still pray to see the good in them, okay? So the fear of God is different but it's a good thing that he brought it up, because if you don't trust God, and these are Christian people, then what happens is you put a man, person, or a woman before God to fear him. So you have taken yourself out of the equation of God, right? Good. Okay, so another limitation. Anger, yeah. Why?
Because you could be so angry to where you hurt somebody, it can cause you your life.
Yes. So how
Going to jail,
it can cause you your life, but how does anger affect you?
it can kill you.
No, how does it affect you? Because we're not talking outside of ourselves about what can happen to other people. The idea is understanding limitations for ourselves.
So how does anger affect you?
Right, because if we keep talking about what it does for other people, we won't get to our own thoughts and feelings about it.
Oh, well, anger can, like I said, anger can take you because anger causes stress. And when you stress, you can die from stress.
Okay, so is that affecting you?
Anger can, yeah.
Anger is affecting you?
No, not now, but I'm just saying, like, anger can affect you in that type of way. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to go back and listen to what I said. Why? Because I need to know how it's affecting you. What limits is it putting on you? See, that's when you start thinking for yourself, everybody. When you are able to describe your own emotions, then you begin to work out your own, you know how they say your own soul salvation? Because you're not looking at other people and how they work it out, but you work it out yourself. Because
Oh, yeah. So I know what you're saying.
Okay.
So anger has affected me. It was affecting me at one point in time because, you know, when I was angry all the time, people wouldn't want to be around me. It was hurting. I see how it was hurting other people. It was getting me into trouble. You know. So
Okay.
I changed that to where, you know, it turned it into happiness. You know. So now I just want happy stuff about.
Okay.
You know?
Good.
When I get angry, I kind of pull back from everything. So I find myself creating a space of nothingness, like nothing's happening but bad thoughts. I experienced that this week, where I got angry and I couldn't control the situation. So I think I probably was mad for about an hour or two. And I had to braid my hair. And it stopped me from doing stuff. Like I just sat there and just kind of like conjured up a whole bunch of more thoughts. And then something just clicked in my head and I just jumped up and started braiding. And I put some motivational something in my ears. But I just didn't like I don't like the fact that when I'm mad at that time that I'm not doing nothing. Because it's shortening, but it used to be like 2 or 3 days I could just sit there and not do nothing. No eating, don't want to talk to people, don't want to understand what's happening, or even realize what am I doing to myself at the time.
So the limits are sitting in unhealthy behaviors,
Yeah.
sitting in unhealthy feelings, believing in whatever is driving you in that anger, rejection, bitterness. Once you know that you feel it, then you can start controlling it, not controlling other people, right? And controlling other people is another one that people get upset about. You can't control anybody because they have free will, right? You put a limitation on yourself and disconnect with God when you do it because it's not orderly. Just hypothetically, I have had that experience with my own self. And so when you start understanding that you cannot control people, for instance, then you have more power because you have left them to create, design their own destiny, whether they fail or they're successful, right? With rejection, it's the same. But all of these that we spoke of, even if it's anxiety, there is a positive to it. So first, like Nicole, she started braiding her hair. She has found a solution to help her mind go into another place is what's happening. and her mind going into another place takes her outside of the issues that she been thinking about. Because like what it is dwelling on negative. It's dwelling on negative outside of you, by the way. And then when you are in a place where you decide to go within, whether it's dark or not there, you can see the light of day because you have removed yourself from the outside influences of the challenge, which is you. You see something that you cannot do anything about. Anger is the same. If you are angry, it's limiting until you find a solution to sever anger or to use anger positively. Like kids can go out on the basketball field or playground and play basketball to get that anger out, right? Anxiety is the same. You can go and exercise. You can pray.
Right.
I believe in that avidly. That's why I come and I always try to bring the spiritual concept, because that's the way that I deal with things. What would God have me to do in this situation? And do you know that all of this is energy?
Really?
It really is. Anxiety is a hyped up energy that you need to exhaust. Anytime you are dwelling on something and it's not healthy, it's an unhealthy energy. Energy makes you go. Energy makes you go, right? You go mad, angry. You moving fast. You get anxiety, you're moving fast, you're feeling fast. Even with rejection, your mind is moving fast. The problem is that you need to exhaust that energy so that it will not do anything to limit your life anymore. It's a word, but it has a feeling and an emotion. All of it is moving. It's trying to move you to do something, right?
Yeah.
Jealousy moves you to do something.
Yeah.
All of it is energy that's propelling you. And people don't really understand that. So in order to stop it, you got to realize that you feel propelled. Helicopter has propellers to move. It's moving you just like positive will move you. So in the instance of her braiding her hair, instead of her moving into the negative, being moved into the negative, what she did is moved into positive by changing her mind. Now, one of the things she did to change her mind is she changed her meditation, because she was meditating on that. You are thinking on a thing. When you get upset, when you feel angry, when you feel emotions of rejection, you're thinking on something. Anxiety, you're thinking on something. And people would say, well, I want to change it. Then you begin to understand how when you feel a certain way, the energy is there. You feel it. My mind is moving right now to do stuff. It's a lot of energy. When she started praying, though, the energy that we feel was pulling us into a good place. I felt it. I don't know if anybody else did. And so one of the number one things is prayer and meditation. You change your limits by prayer and meditation, because your body will begin to calm down, as he was saying, how he does things. When you go within, you close off the outer world. But you know, the ones that cannot close off the outer world are the ones that want to see what's really still happening out there. If you want to shut it down and take time with yourself, you're going to go within and you're going to quiet yourself down, because you know that outside world may be influencing you wrong right now, and you need that quiet time to go within yourself, right?
Right.
And that's why, I introduced meditation, because we don't just have mental health issues. We have energy that we don't know what to do with. And it displays itself outside of us, because we don't have no control or knowledge of it. And that's where the limits come. A person that goes and kills someone, like in the El Paso, he was driven. His mind was motivated,
Yeah,
but there was an energy that was propelling him.
that's right.
And so within your body, you can feel that life line and that life within him took other people's lives. So it's a need to control it. And then how do you control it again? Because it can limit you in your life when you hurt someone else, right?
Yes,
Right?
very much so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Words hurt people. That's limitation, because now, and you know, that's going to be a hard place, but God is in it. When you pray every day and you keep a prayer life, you pray more and more, then you start seeing things from a different perspective. But you can't see it different if you only in this part of the world. If you don't escape and go into the spirit realm, begin to pray and ask God to help you to see the difference that you can make in life and the difference that you are now, then there will not be a change. Why? Because we have not, it said, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray. I felt humility when you started to pray. Why? Because it humbles you. If you really tap into prayer when someone is praying and it's an authentic prayer that she was praying, then you will be humbled.
It's true.
You don't have to just go to a place and just because people are praying, say that you should feel the presence of God or be humbled. That doesn't happen for people. They fake it. But when God becomes your true source, you're going to be humbled in prayer. You're going to feel the presence because you know you need it.
Right.
Ain't no one bigger than God in a place where they can say, well, I know that prayer, I should humble myself in prayer. No, it said, if my people who are called by my name. And that doesn't limit anybody but the name of Jesus. When you call by the name of Jesus, you done been through some severe hurt and pain. And you know how to call on his name because you know ain't no other help. If you find any other help besides Jesus and it's not Jesus in the person that you're getting it from, you're putting limits on. Like people in relationships. You limit yourself because you believe that that's God. Bring balance into your life. When you feel like you cannot manifest money, you have limited God in your life. Because you just feel like money's supposed to come from outside sources. You never closed your eyes and just seen money coming to you. It's really that easy. Because God will summon somebody to do it if you really believe. But it's...
Control it.
Say it again.
But we want to control it. And I learned that we complain, which takes us away from the thought of what we be wanting. Because you don't know that you complain, but like even just getting up in the morning and saying, I would probably say I don't have no cream, and such and such didn't went to the store and didn't get me none. But I've been learning that it's the reason why I didn't have that cream at that moment at that time. So if I complain about it, I'm not gonna get it. But once I just relax in my mind, cream start coming out my ears. Like people, I might see some cream or somebody might just buy me some. I mean, it has happened before for me. That's why I'm telling you.
And yeah, that's the truth. And the reason why people, they don't manifest is because they focus on the wrong stuff. They focus on what they don't have, what they cannot do. So that's what you always get. And when you show or teach people what they can do, they don't believe it because they still choose to live in the world. I think it was Wednesday we were talking about be not conformed. And then when you discuss these things, you find how much you have conformed. Because you're a Christian, yet you don't practice Christianity. Now, right? I'm not judging. I'm just throwing it out there. Because if you say that you cannot do something, that's not the mind of Christ.
No, it's not.
So then, as much as you say it is as much as you are, because there's Moses, and God told him, I am. So you are saying, I am not able. Okay. So you change your language, because your language is powerful. And that's where your limits come from. Your limits come from what you're able to see truly, and what you're saying, and what you're doing. So if you believe that it takes a man or a woman to help you or to get you through paying your bills, then so it be. And you got to struggle with their will, because they have a will of their own, right?
Yes.
But if you go to the source, there's no limits to what you can have if you just stay there. If you go to God, you just stay there and you believe and you see it. Get you some magazines and cut out what you want out of life. Here it is, Habakkuk. He says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. If you put down everything that you want and then make a picture of it, you got more power going on than anything. It's a new beginning. You're changing your life. You're not doing the things the same way because, well, I prayed and I asked God, but this is what I got. Well, that's what you got because you didn't put forth the effort of what he's saying. Do the word. Write it down. Make some pictures. So when you start making pictures and you put something up on your refrigerator, all that money, it's okay. That car, it's okay. Your spiritual relationship, words to say what you want in your, because that's where your manifestations are going to come from. It's not coming from this world. The world is where we came into to remember who we are, which means remembering who we are means that we got to get back to the heavenly mind. And then bring that into the earth. And they are balanced as one. Because, again, a lot of people teach don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good, and don't be so earthly good that you're heavenly minded. Well, the thing with heavenly mindedness is that people in our walk of Christianity, they're not manifesting because they are not looking at the truth. A lot of Christians complaining about different things. It's not here. They complaining about leaders. They're complaining about their life. But they are not looking at how God created the world. And he gives an example. You got to follow it. God is not an I dream a genie. No. Ain't no limits but the limits of how we think. You know how I know? Because I thought he was I dream a genie too. Just do it. Well, guess what? He'll do some stuff will manifest. But when you get to a certain place, then you got to go higher. And that means that you have got to start demonstrating what he said. Okay, you prayed and you spoke it. Now, did you write it down? Oh, ain't nothing happening now. He used to bless me. Okay, that means that because you got to go up higher. You got to beef up what you do. According to what the Bible is saying. So where's your limits at? Our limits are in the way that we function as human beings and as a spiritual being. We are 3-part beings. That's why mental is there, physical and spiritual. Right? People go to take care of their physical body, right? We have some confusion on how to take care of our spiritual man. Some of us don't listen, but some of us don't understand how to take care of the spiritual man. But then there is the mental part of us that I find people will not take care of. And if we start taking care of all 3 parts, then we'll do a lot better. All right? So you got some good clues on how to manifest your potential. It say unlock it by writing what you desire. You cannot write, by the way, desires that have to do with other people. This is about personal. So if it's, something that has to do with somebody else, you can't make people do what you want them to do. You can be a light that shines and you show people the way. That's what we're supposed to do. But you can't make people become or do what you want them to do.
That's right.
The best love that you can have for a person is to say, it is well. Okay, let go, let God release them from what you expect from them. Why? Because your expectation should be for yourself. It's limiting when you put your expectations on other people. I want the best for everyone, but they may not want it for them. So does that mean I'm going to struggle with them? No. It's selfish. Because until they want the best for themselves, there's nothing that you can do to help them to change. You can only change you.
What if they need help? What if they need help on how to change?
We're doing that right now. You discuss, but you don't make people do anything. You give them information. Information. And after that, they take it, they do what they want to, right? People that come here and that I've experienced with, they want to do other things. We discuss it, it seems right from our point of view, but they might say, in their mind, they ain't ready for it. Okay. So you learn how to just keep focused and keep walking instead of trying to change people's minds. And so I heard somebody say that they're used to fixing things. And I just want to relate to that because that can become a struggle.
Yes.
If you do not rethink fixing, you can't fix people. You can't. And without the right understanding and you finding the way to help or assist, it can become a struggle because you don't understand why they're resisting and they're not ready. You throw the seeds out there and then let them pick it up. Done.
You don't go water it, go check on it.
Right. Like a mom that kept telling their kid, we train our children, but adults, it's hard. You can train this one here, right here, because he's a child still.
Right.
But you cannot do that. After 13 is hard because they've come into puberty. So the hardest people to help actually are adults. Because even when you tell them something good and you have a sincerity to inform them of things, a sincerity to inform them of things, they still kick back because it's not what they're used to. It's not the norm. Because we're conformed to a place. I don't want to people to misunderstand, but you need to define conformity and non-conformity. Because everything that most people do has to do with what somebody else is saying and doing. The world. When you change that, then you become an outcast. And that's okay. Because your change of nonconformity is not limiting you anymore. If people if you come across, you got young people that have been drug dealers, right? And they did it because they didn't have a family and this, that, and the other, but they conformed. And they conformed to a way of life that they wanted. It's nothing that a mother or a father can do about that. The only thing you can do is pray. And then see how it goes. But when you struggle with that child that has went into that type of lifestyle, it's going to be painful on both aspects, on both sides, because you don't want them to possibly be there and you don't want to see anything hurt them, right? But they got to learn for themselves. And that is respecting their space. If they are over 17 and 18, it's a respectful thing. And maybe people don't look at God allowed them to walk into that path. Drug dealers walk into paths because they can learn and teach after they are non-conformed to drug dealing. You see? All right. Any questions? Okay, well, we can go now, right? Everybody's tired. Y'all didn't sleep last night. God bless you.